key part of the Kawai digital piano family, the ES120 has the characteristic Kawai touch and tone in a smaller shell. Let's take a look. So we're here today with Luke, concert pianist, teacher and Kawai artist, to look at the ES120. So who would you say this piano is aimed at?
So this particular keyboard is really aimed at quite a variety of people. So if you're a beginner musician or somebody who's a gigging musician, so somebody who's on the road quite a lot, or even somebody who's just started out on their musical journey and doesn't have an awful lot of space at home, this keyboard is absolutely perfect for that. Basically, you're getting the full range of, Kawai's technical expertise with the piano sounds, but also the weighted keys and the full-size keyboard, but in a very compact and very lightweight shell. So it's really perfect for any of the people I just mentioned.
And obviously, the keyboard itself detaches from this stand and you can play it anywhere. So it weighs just 12.5 kilos on its own?
That's right, yeah. It's very, very lightweight. It's really easy to take apart, put away and get back out again. So as I say, if you're somebody who's like on the road quite a lot, if you like to play in venues where they don't necessarily have their own instruments, I think, especially like things like pubs or even like theatres or any kind of venue where they don't have dedicated instruments, is perfect because it's got 20-watt speakers built in. So it's pretty loud and it's got, good volume, and so it's really good for playing in any sort of setting where you're on the road.
You get the full powerful sound.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
From a stage piano.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, exactly. And it's got a lot of features built into it that allow for amplification. So it's got USB and Bluetooth audio, which means that for example, if you had a backing track that you wanted to play along with, you can send that directly through to the speakers on the keyboard, and so effectively you can play along with it. So it's really effective for things like that.
Which is obviously great for performance, but also great for students when they're learning, playing along with something, maybe a recording from a teacher or a specific piece from a book. Yeah,
exactly. So it's got a lot of versatility, and the fact that it's lightweight means that, for example, if you haven't got a dedicated space, say if you're a student, living in like university accommodation where perhaps you don't have so much space, it's really easy to sort of just get out, put up, do some practice, and then you can put it away again. So it's really effective for things like that.
Perfect. And if you, like you say, if you've moved away from home for the first time, you want to be able to take a keyboard with you because you're doing a music course, and practice rooms are always hard to get.
Yeah, exactly.
Get time in and everything, so it adapts to your needs.
Yeah, and this is the thing, is there's no sort of compromise on the quality of the experience, because obviously, as I said, you've got the full range, you've got the 88 keys, it's fully weighted, so it's got the responsive hammer compact action, so it feels quite authentic to a piano. And with Kawai's sort of state-of-the-art recording sample technology, the harmonic imaging, you're getting a really high-quality sample set from their flagship piano, the Shigeru SK-EX grand piano. So you're really getting that very high quality in this, well, like I say, comparatively compact frame. SK-EX is a huge instrument, but then you get to have it in a small, for example, flat or something like that. It's a sort of small space.
But that's not the only sound that it has. It has a range of other sounds that you can suit to your needs.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's got a huge range of sounds available on it. It's got the electric piano sounds, harpsichord, organ, strings. It's got a bunch of really nice sounds for people to play around with. And yeah, as I say, this is really good for, like I say, gigging musicians, people who maybe do it recreationally. And if they want to find a specific ensemble, they can sort of play around with that with other people, and
you've got the jazz sounds for your jazz musicians.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got the electric organ. You've got all sorts of, I think it's a range of 25.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
25 different sounds to suit your needs. There's going to be something that fits your music style
exactly.
in there.
It basically it's gives you room for experimentation, which is really important, I think, for especially new musicians. If you want to just, explore, be curious, allow themselves to be curious about what's available to them, and having an instrument like this at home is really helpful for that sort of thing.
Of course. And then you've got good connectivity. You mentioned that you've got Bluetooth audio, you've also got Bluetooth MIDI. You've also got headphone jacks if you want to do quiet performance. So I believe you've got 2 headphone jacks on this?
Yes. So obviously, as I mentioned, if you're somebody who lives in, say, university accommodation or even a home where people are not so used to having an instrument. I mean, some of my students, for example, they live in very small houses and they've got big families. And, having an instrument like this would be really, really helpful for them, because not everybody necessarily appreciates somebody practicing late at night. If you've been at school all day, but you want to get that, half an hour practice in. You can do that in privacy. And you can do that with discretion, and you're not disturbing anybody, but you're able to experience that really high level sound and touch basically in your own private space. So you're cultivating your own personal musical space, which is really nice. And
then you've also got the benefit of, with the responsive hammer compact action, it's got that sort of enhanced dampening effect, so you don't have that clunky key noise that
so a lot of very similar sort of sized keyboards tend to have this very loud clicking noise, which can be obviously quite irritating to people not playing the piano, but also for you as the pianist, it can be sort of distracting. So having that dampening technology is really nice, because that's, again, more similar to what you would have on a grand piano or an acoustic instrument. So you're able to get that sort of really luxury feel and very compact, lightweight frame.
And obviously we don't have a screen on the top of this piano, which you can get on some sort of similar models, but you have that functionality through the app instead, so the PianoRemote app.
Yeah, so you can integrate your smartphone with an app called PianoRemote, which allows you to follow along with some lessons that are built into it, but also has the virtual technician technology, which allows you to curate the quality of the sound. It allows you to change a lot of features of the sound, things like reverb, things like the response, the quality of the tone. Is it a warm tone, a harsh tone? All sorts of various details about the sounds that are built into the piano that you're able to cater to your taste, which is really nice. Yeah,
it always adds to the experience when you can make it a little bit more personal.
Yeah, exactly. And as I say, like, if, for example, you're a gigging musician, you go somewhere and you think, okay, this is the kind of sound I want for this space, that's the kind of level of curation that you might want to be able to experiment with and play around with. And also same with a home, like you might want to change it to home. I mean, it's very common amongst concert pianists, for example. When you go to a concert hall, you'll often meet with a technician for the piano, and then they'll say, what kind of things would you like me to adjust on the piano for you? Now, for a student, when you have a keyboard like this with apps like the PianoRemote, it allows you to make those decisions for yourself and actually learn about all the various aspects of piano regulation that really affect the quality of the output, the sound that you're getting on the other end. So it really allows a lot of versatility and a great source of learning as well.
So obviously we mentioned that the piano itself just weighs 12.5 kilos, really lightweight, really portable, but you've also got a range of sort of accessories that come with it. So you've got the wooden stand, if you want to add it to that, make it look a little bit more like a cabinet piano in your home.
Yeah.
And then you've got additional pedal units that you can add to it as well. So for more expressive playing as you sort of advance your own techniques.
Yeah, exactly. So, you can, again, it's about experimentation and finding what works for you. So, you've got the type of flat pedal design that we have with this one here, but you can also get the more, I would say, more professional looking
triple pedal unit.
Yeah, triple pedal unit, which allows you to just have, again, great versatility and great diversity of sound quality and experience. So it really offers a range for people who are more recreational versus kind of more ambitious with their aspirations with the music. So if they want to experiment with something more advanced, then there's the option to do that.
Yeah, of course. And then obviously this is part of the Kawai's ES range. So you also have the integrated lessons.
Yeah, so the integrated lessons, again, is part of the apps that I mentioned earlier with the PiaBook player and PianoRemote. So they have a great library of things like piano exercises, some very popular pieces like bits of Chopin, Debussy, Bach, Czerny, Clementi, a whole range. It's a huge library. And these are pieces that are very commonly used, especially when people are just starting out.
Yes,
so
of course.
It's really great, when people are not so familiar, for example, with a lot of these commonly played pieces, they have the opportunity to be able to bring that home after their lesson and kind of keep reinforcing, keep learning, keep reinforcing the ideas that have been learned in lessons. And well, basically just come back to the lesson the following week or whenever it is you how regularly you have it. And it's like you've been able to have multiple exposures, like you've had multiple piano lessons on the same thing, which is really effective. You know, I mean, something I do with a lot of my own students, particularly the beginners. It's like, you know, some people, they sort of deter people from using digital technology, but I think it's great to integrate it with your learning experience because it's, you know, it's a vast resource, and having these tools available to us allows us to, again, just keep exposing ourselves to the music, keep learning more, keep deepening our knowledge so that it becomes natural. So, you know, having those kind of lessons available to you, particularly, as I said, with the exercises, I think it's really great to be able to go over it over and over and over again until it becomes like second nature. So you're able to reinforce those lessons and then really deepen your technique and deepen your knowledge of the instrument.
Yeah, and you've got to keep people enthusiastic and consistent at the same time, and these apps really allow students to do that.
Exactly, yeah, it's really good. So with the app as well, with the Virtual Piano Technician, there are multiple types of reverb that you can use with the piano sounds on this. So what that means is essentially the reverb is the space that the sounds have been recorded in.
Yes.
But the adjustments that are available on here are huge. So obviously, typically speaking, if you just had one type of reverb, it's the one that would be in your living room. And maybe you want to make it sound like you're in a cathedral or in a concert hall or in maybe a jazz bar or something like this. So there's
a bit of a grander space.
Exactly, yeah. Something, it just gives you that more varied experience, that variety that allows you to, you know, again, experience the sound differently, because the sound of a grand piano in, say, a huge concert hall is very different to that of, say, a theatre or a small recital hall or something like that.
So thank you, Luke, for coming and talking to us about the ES120. It's clear that it's perfect for a range of musicians, whether you're just starting out as a student or you need something for on the go. If you have any questions about this piano or any piano in the Kawai range, please leave it in the comments below and we will do our best to answer it for you. If you'd like to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel and give us a like. Thank you very much.